Hey besties, I found this old scarf I was making, and also I'm in a new area of my room, a different area. It's not new, it's always been there. Anyway, I'm in a different spot, because I don't feel very good, and, so I'm just, like, in bed still. But anyway, yeah, so I got another migraine. I had made a video, like, one of my first ones in, like, the first week that when I started doing this was called I Got a Migraine, sad face. But yeah, I got got another one. This one was like way worse than like most of them. So like it started like, oh gosh, sorry, I haven't knitted like this in a while. I'm like, what am I doing? How does this work? Um anyway, so yeah, my cat like woke me up at 3 a.m. and I was like not in a good mood. And like he just wanted to go outside. Usually he wakes me up around like 4 to 5:30 to like because he wants breakfast. So like that's, I'm kind of used to that now, but like there was a point where it was getting earlier and earlier that he was waking me up every day, and like it would get to the point where I'd get up and just like cry like as I was feeding him, because I was like, this is horrible, like I can't sleep, I can't like just get through like the night, you know, like 4 5 a.m. like sure that's fine, but like 3 in the morning, like let me freaking sleep. So I would just start crying like while I was feeding him, and I'm like, I don't know like what to do about this. So like I started feeding him at night before I went to bed to like kind of hold him over a little bit longer. Like it worked for a while, but now like yeah, they like to go outside, so this time he was just screaming. Like I was leaving the door open for them like for a while, but like now my dad started turning the air conditioning on, so it's like we got to keep the door closed. So it's like now we just have to get up every like 10-15 minutes to open the door for one of them, which is really frustrating. And so like when my cat woke me up at 3 a.m. just to let him out, I was like, I started crying really hard, like I was sobbing, and then it got to the point where like my head was also hurting, like kind of like a lot of pressure over here, and so like that was hurting me too, and so I was crying about that. And then I was crying about like the fact that like my whole life I grew up like not wanting to like end up living with some man and like having kids, and then like I have to get up and like feed the kid while he like stays asleep and stuff. And then I was like, my dad was the one who decided to get cats anyway. Like he was the one who woke up one day and was like, let's go get a cat. And then like we found a cat that was like they're like, they'll be ready to pick up like next week or in like 2 weeks or something. And I was like, okay, that's reasonable. Like I don't think we're ready for a cat. We don't have anything that we need for a cat, blah, blah, blah. And then like somehow he found someone that had 2 cats that needed to be picked up that day. So we went on the way to pick them up. We went to the pet store and got like the food little things in the litter box and the little carrier case for them and everything. And then like went and picked up 2 cats, and I was like, how did this happen? Like I didn't think I needed to say like, no, I don't think we should get cats. We're not in a position, like we don't have like stable housing. Like I've moved like 4 times this year. I don't think we need cats right now. And then we ended up with 2 little kitty cats, and then one of them died while we were backpacking through Europe, and then we came back to only 1 cat, and I was so sad because I was so like looking forward to seeing my cats the whole time I was there. And then when we moved out to the Midwest, we thought like our 1 cat was lonely, and so we got him another one, and that's the one that's like waking me up at 3 a.m. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish we, like not really, but like in those moments I'm like, I wish we never got the stupid cats anyway, like this is all my dad's fault. And like, oh gosh, yeah, so I was crying about that. And then like started like the headache was coming and I started throwing up. And then so I threw up a little bit and then went back to bed, and then the cats came and woke me up again for like 4:30 probably. So I got up, and like even in the best of circumstances, that's like a tough job for me. Like I'm a Virgo. Virgos are stereotyped as like throwing up a lot. So like I'll pour the cat food, and like especially like getting like the old cat food that was like there that they didn't finish, like cleaning that one out, like that just grosses me out, like even under the best circumstances, like I said. So like yeah, I was gagging. I was like, bleh, bleh, you know. And so like that made me start throwing up again. And then again, like I'd asked my dad, like I heard him because I was crying and like started throwing up, and I like knew he was awake. And he didn't do anything. Like sometimes he'll be like, can I do anything for you? And I'm always like, no, like what do you like the only thing he would do when I was little was like hold my hair back, but I was like, I can just put it up. You don't need, like, I don't need you to help me throw up, you know? But like I did say like, hey dad, can you go feed the cats? Dad. And like I guess he'd fallen back asleep already. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll get up and feed the cats. And then so yeah, I started throwing up again, went back to bed, and then like then the other cat we leave the back door open, and so like at this point I was like, I don't want to keep having to get up to do it, so I left that door open. But the other cat, sometimes they like to go in the front door for some reason. I'm like, you know, you can go to the front from the back door, right? Like you don't have to they'll like come in through the back door and then just like want us to open the front door like immediately. And I'm like, can't you have just walked outside? Like why are you like this? So like 7 or so, the other cat wants to go out the front, and I was like waiting. I was like, maybe my dad, he's meowing really loud, and I'm like, my dad's, I can hear him like moving, I think he's like awake, but like he's not getting up to open the door, and like the cat's being really annoying, and like I like my head hurts, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll just get up and do it. And then I end up throwing up again because like there's a lot of like laying down makes me really nauseous, and then like getting like the process of laying down and getting back up, it's like yeah, so I end up having to like sleep kind of vertically as well as I can, like on a couch or something, to like avoid the process of like, because then as soon as I lay back down, like I start to get nauseous. So I'm like, I'm just gonna like sleep kind of in a vertical manner. And I got a chair from the kitchen and went and put it in the bathroom too, because I was like going in and like kneeling on the floor, and like the tile was cold and stuff. And like part of the migraines for me is like hot and cold flashes. Like I think like I'll get really cold, and then when I'm throwing up, like cold before I throw up, and then I throw up, and then it gets really hot, and I'm like, it's just so hot, and I'm like so sweaty, and then like I'll cool my face down with some water and like try to go back to bed. It's just like just a never-ending process basically. And at this, like usually after throwing up like a couple of times, like this process of like getting up and laying back down, getting up, throwing up, laying back down, eventually it stops and I feel better, and I just like go to sleep, and then I wake up the next day and it's like fine. And like it sucks. Like there was one time in particular when my headache was so bad, I was like, I'm gonna die, and then I made it through it. And so it was like, you know, like even if it's really horrible in the moment, I'm like, I know that I'm gonna make it, I know I'm gonna be okay tomorrow, but like it still sucks to go through it, obviously. But like yeah, I'm like, it's gonna be fine. And then my dad was like, after like hours of this, he's like, do you want to go to the hospital or something? Which like last time we went to the hospital, we were still living in California, so we went to like urgent care, or no, the emergency room. I was watching a comedy, I can't remember where, someone in comedy was talking about that, like why is emergency room and urgent care, they sound, I think it was probably Josh Johnson, I can't remember, those sound like the same thing, but they're two very, like they named them with synonyms, and then they handle very different things apparently. So like yeah, we went to the emergency room, we checked in, we were waiting for a long time, they finally called my name, but then I went to like answer the questions to the nurse the first time, and then there was like a second little waiting room where they were waiting for like the doctor, and they kept coming and calling the same name, and then that person wasn't there, and then they would leave, and then that happened like 10 times, and I'm like, that they're not here, like move on to the next person maybe. Like I was sitting there, they gave me a bag to throw up in if I had to, and so I was sitting in a room with like 10, 20, maybe like let's say 15, average it out, like 15 other people just sitting there like throwing up into my little bag. And like eventually it just like stopped, like it went away, and I was still like there, and I was like, they still hadn't called my name or anything, so I was like, okay dad, let's just go home. So like this time he was like, do you want to go to the hospital? I'm like, I didn't do anything last time, not really. But then like a couple of minutes after I said that, like my hands started to feel like numb, and I was like, this has never happened before. So I was like, maybe we should. And then I remembered, like, since moving from LA to like the Midwest, like my dad loves going like anytime he has to go to the DMV, it's like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so great, because like we used to have to wait, like you would need an appointment, otherwise you'd have to wait like forever, and there's like a line outside the door even before like the DMV opens, you know? It's just like a horrible experience. And then here you walk in, he always says like he walks in and he's out in like less than 10 minutes or something, but like we went and there were like 4 people in line already, so it ended up being a little longer than that when I had to get my like license plate changed. But yeah, it was fine. So then I was like, okay, maybe it won't be as bad going to the hospital because it's not as bad at the DMV. And that was true, but like it still took forever, but like there was only one person in there when we got there. So they're like, he's ahead of you, and it still took like, it felt like 30 minutes or something. And I was sitting there freezing cold. They gave me a blanket, but like they hesitate because they're like, if she has a fever, we don't want to give her a blanket. But I was like, I don't have a fever. Like my dad felt my head and it was like a little warm, but like I said, I would get like hot and cold flashes. So then like a couple minutes later, he felt like my whole face was freezing cold. I was like, feel my nose, it's so cold. And so yeah, they're like, okay, I guess you can have a blanket. And then they like wouldn't let me drink water either, and I was getting so thirsty. And then finally like they let me go back to the doctor, and then he like shamed me. He's like, so like they were asking about my symptoms and stuff. I was like, well, I had the like migraine headache and then throwing up, and then I started having like the heat and cold flashes, and then like my hands went numb, and at one point my heart just felt really weak. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then he's like how long has this been going on? And he meant like what time it started, so like 3 a.m. But like I said that to the nurse already. She's like, how long has this been going on? And I said like 3 a.m. and she was like, when was your first migraine? So I was like, oh, like 10 years old. So then he's like, how long has this been going on? I was like, since I was like 10 years old. He's like, what? Like, no, like today. I was like, oh, like 3 a.m. And then yeah, he kind of shamed me. He's like, you've never like gotten medicine for this? You've never gone to the doctor for like a CT scan? I was like, no. He's like, from when you were 10 and started getting migraines to like now when you're, how old are you? And I was like 30. He's like, you guys still haven't gotten it? And I was like, no, like, do you know, you know, the like healthcare system kind of sucks, right? Like I haven't really been in like a financial position to get a CT, like I haven't, you know, like stop shaming me for this. Like it's not my fault. Leave me alone. Also, like, should be my parents, if I'm having them at 10, like my parents should have been the ones to be like, maybe, like they weren't, like when I say I had them at 10, I just remember waking up and throwing up in the middle of the night. I don't think there was like the headache component involved. And then also like I used to get really bad period cramps, and that was like a whole thing when like I would throw up, like not every month, but like maybe every other month. It would just, my cramps would get so bad that I would throw up. So then like I wouldn't associate that with like the migraines, but like looking back, I'm just like thinking about the times that like I end up throwing up a lot for like seemingly no reason. Then so I kind of like combine all those things into like, they're probably related. But yeah, my CT came back fine. They gave me the medicine, which like I feel like they were giving it to me right as it was gonna like go away anyway, and I was gonna start feeling better. But I was like literally like, I brought my little trash can with me with a little bag in it, and I was like hunched over like while she was trying to get my finger to for the heart rate, and then it wasn't even working. It's just like, there's too much nail polish, and I was like, this one has, she was trying this one, and I was like, this one has less polish, like right in the middle there. There's just like that nice little crack, so I was like, use that one. And like, yeah, in the middle of throwing up, so like maybe I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure it would have gone away anyway. And then like they just started the medicine, so I had to sit there and like wait for the whole time. And then the medicine made me like way colder too. Like they gave me one for the nausea and one for the headache, I think. And the headache was gone already at this point anyway. Like it was just like the throwing up and stuff. So I was like, I don't even know if I need this medicine. But they did give me like a prescription. So next time when I start to get a migraine, I can take that. And then it'll like hopefully not have to go through the whole other thing, all the rest of it. But yeah, it's just like, I can't believe the doctor just keeps shaming me about like not having I don't even know what a CT scan is. Like now I know that it's like something about your head, because I had one, and it's like they put me in the machine and my head was getting pictures taken of it. So they took pictures of my head. Yeah, I didn't even know what it was, so like why? And like the other thing about it is like when I went to get my IUD for period cramps, which was like over 5 years ago now, and I haven't gotten it out. I don't know. And I told them that yesterday, and then they like still didn't take it out. Anyway, but like I asked them if they could do, like I had really bad cramps, and I was like, can you do like an ultrasound, see if I have like fibroids or whatever, or like I think I have endometriosis or whatever. I feel like I used the wrong word there, but I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, I was like, can you do like an ultrasound and see like what's going on down there if something's wrong? And then he was like, well, we don't have an ultrasound machine, and also like even if there was something wrong, if we found fibroids or whatever, the solution would be to like give you an IUD. So like if you're getting an IUD anyway, we don't really. And I was like, I still would like to know. It's my body. I still want to know what's going on. You know what I mean? So like even if I did like think of, oh, I need a CT scan for my migraines, like I wouldn't have thought that it was like gonna happen, you know? Anyway, there's also like another medical problem that I had. I had a big like cyst on my shoulder right here, which I got removed. There's a little scar. I don't know if you can see it in this lighting, but a little scar right there. Yeah, I had that for like 8 years, I think. I remember getting, I was probably like a sophomore in college, and I got a bug bite around here, like on my arm somewhere. And it got infected, and so like I had it all day, and then as I was like, I said goodnight to my mom and stuff, and then like I said like my arm felt really warm, and she's like, why didn't you tell me that earlier? Like it's the middle of the night, like now I have to take you to the fucking like, and she didn't even drive, my sister drove. Anyway, she's like mad at me for saying and I didn't know that that was like a thing you had to tell. I was just like, is that weird? And I just felt it. That was the first time I felt it. And she's like getting mad at me for like, now she has to like take me to the hospital. Like, okay, sorry to be such a fucking inconvenience, Mom. My bad. Anyway, so yeah, we went for the other thing, and I had the cyst on my arm, but I didn't know what it was. I just saw it was a bump, and I was like, that's probably cancer. I'm probably gonna die in like 2 weeks. I don't need to worry about it. Like just take me. And then it just didn't go away, but it wasn't getting bigger. And so I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, when we were there for the bug bite, I was like, I moved my hair. I was wearing a tank top, so it was visible. I was like, I want them to see this. And like, and yeah, one of them did, but they're like, what's that on your arm? I was like, oh, I'm not sure. And they said it looked like a fatty tumor. And then my mom was like, stop eating chips. And I was like, okay, great. So that's just gonna be on my arm now. And then like years later, I would like play with it. It kind of like popped, and it like I could get some like pus out of it, and so I would like squeeze it out. And then I guess I like did it wrong one time, and it like ruptured, and it started looking really like weird. And my dad, I'd shown him this. I'd done the like pus squeezing thing like in front of him before. And then like one day he looked at my arm. He's like, what's that on your arm? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I've had this for years. Like, how did you? And then he's like, do you want to go get that checked out? I'm like, I should have gotten it checked out years ago. What do you mean? So yeah, okay, let's go get it checked out. And then she said it was a ruptured cyst, and that they could just remove it. And if I'd come to them earlier, they could have just taken it out so much easier. And I just got so frustrated. But like she was also like kind of like lecturing me too, like, why didn't you come sooner? And like, why did you, she kept saying manipulate, like without all the manipulation this would have been easier. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, okay, like once she told me that the first time, it's like, yeah, sure, I shouldn't have been playing with it. Like they tell you that all the time about like pimples, don't play with them. But like if you can just squeeze it right, and like sometimes it works, you know? So I'm like, I'm just gonna try. So yeah, so I squeezed it, and then she's like, oh, she asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, I would squeeze it sometimes. And then she was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And then she kept repeating, she's like, oh, without all the manipulation, if you didn't manipulate it so much. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it, but I did, so like fucking move on. Like stop trying to shame me about, I didn't know. So anyway, I just feel really like weak still, but hopefully I don't have to deal with that again because we have that prescription now. So I don't really have anything else to say. This is gonna be like one of my shortest videos. It's only 20 minutes and almost 10 seconds now. So thanks for watching. Go watch some of my longer videos. Just kidding. Yeah, thanks for watching. I have other stuff you can watch down in the links. My music channel, crochet. I have one video on my crochet channel and then like my astrology channel. And that's it. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Oh, free Palestine, free Sudan, free Congo, free all oppressed beings everywhere. Okay, bye.